Hey ChatGPT, I've just given you a picture. Hope you read it. I'm now gonna speak from the picture. You will have to review and evaluate whether I'm speaking a templated response, meaning very less sentences on my own. You'll have to also tell me if I'm just using keywords or I'm using sentences on my own. Are you ready with it?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Go ahead and speak or type your response, and I'll carefully evaluate it to determine if it sounds templated, keyword heavy, or if you've used original sentences. Let's do this.
The image talks about distance, which is very important considering the entire picture. X-axis is distance and Y-axis is time. There are important considerations from the image. Prominent one is time, which is highly important. Another factor worth noting is distance, where it highlights the importance of the topic.
Your response relies heavily on general statements and repeats keywords like distance and time without adding much depth or unique observations. It does sound like it follows a template, as the phrases are generic and could apply to almost any graph.
Hey everybody, Nakul here from SKILLS PTE Academic. Really hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm back with yet another super awesome pop-packed video on the 5 new rules that you need to be aware of, especially post the recent November 4th Pearson update. Well, before we get into the video, if you're not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Anytime you need online assistance, it's a paid assistance. You can check the information in the description of this video. We left a WhatsApp link. You can click on the link, send us a message. We will do the needful. Alright, without any further delay, let's straight away get right into the video. Let's talk about the new rule number 1. I'm aware I have told this in many videos as well. But yes, in this video, I will be talking about some of the wrong ways to do it, the right ways, and the updates. Alright, fine. The rule number 1 is about describe image. Definitely yes. Recently, the update was you cannot use the templated responses. If you use it, the software will flag it for the manual intervention, meaning a human will come and check. And if he decides you have just used the template and not have used your own brain, your own creativity, he will or she will give you 0 marks towards your fluency, content, and pronunciation. So as a result, I'm gonna give you some of the new rules. You can just list them down. The first new rule with respect to describe image is to avoid the templated responses. Now the very next question students have is, what constitute a templated response? Something like this I've given. The given image represents a beautiful image. There must have been a popular debate about the information. Entire thing template cars. You're not using anything from your own, and this will definitely be flagged. Well, if you want to risk it, you can use it. If you don't want to risk it, avoid using them. All this definitely will not give scores henceforth. That's the first thing that you need to avoid with respect to describe image. Second is avoid keyword responses. Pearson in their website clearly have mentioned you have to speak something on your own. You use a template or you put one word, it will definitely be flagged for the human review. And if human reads this or sees this, definitely your marks go down. So what constitute a keyword response? Let's have a look at it. So if this is a template, it has got some few blanks, and in the blank, by looking at the picture, student just puts one word. The image talks about distance and time, which is very important considering the entire picture. X-axis is time, whereas Y-axis is distance. There are important considerations from the image. Prominent one is time, which is highly important. Another factor worth noting is distance in cm, where it highlights the importance of the topic. Definitely you have to give the exam again. I'm telling you, software is definitely trained, or probably there is some mechanism wherein the AI, the artificial intelligence software, will flag it for human review. That's what I have read in their website, and I think it's very easy. Even ChatGPT, you can just speak this and ask ChatGPT, is this a templated response? It will say yes, it's a templated response. So I'm going to prove the same. I have a phone here, ChatGPT app. I am gonna give a picture and ask ChatGPT about review, and ask it to review based on if I am giving a templated response or not. Let's see what ChatGPT does, and if ChatGPT is able to give, then definitely Pearson AI software, I believe, is much more smarter than that. It would be easily able to flag it. So let's do this small experiment. Hey ChatGPT, I've just given you a picture. Hope you read it. I'm now gonna speak from the picture. You will have to review and evaluate whether I'm speaking a templated response, meaning very less sentences on my own. You will have to also tell me if I'm just using keywords or I'm using sentences on my own. Are you ready with it?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Go ahead and speak or type your response, and I'll carefully evaluate it to determine if it sounds templated, keyword heavy, or if you've used original sentences. Let's do this.
The image talks about distance, which is very important considering the entire picture. X-axis is distance and y-axis is time. There are important considerations from the image. Prominent one is time, which is highly important. Another factor worth noting is distance, where it highlights the importance of the topic.
Your response relies heavily on general statements and repeats keywords like distance and time without adding much depth or unique observations. It does sound like it follows a template, as the phrases are generic and could apply to almost any graph. To improve and make it sound less templated, describe the specific trends or patterns in the graph.
Hope you're getting it. An app in your phone can identify if you're using a template heavy response or keyword heavy response, and artificial intelligence from Pearson. They will easily find that out, man. I'm telling you, it may not even need a manual review. It could be just a software. It can easily, fire this off and give you very low scores. Avoid using this. So this is what the new thing that I'm showing in these videos. Many would comment saying, oh, this guy is repeating the same thing again and again. If you observe, every video could be similar, but every video that I'm doing has its own significance, has their own pointers. Hope you're getting it. And the third thing with respect to describe image that you should be strictly avoiding is to speak something mechanically. A mechanical response would look something like this. If this is the image, if this is the template, the image talks about kennel, x-axis is dog's name, y-axis is number of dogs. It is proven from the image that red color. It is evident from the image that yellow color, blue color, red color and white color. Something like this, no man, you cannot speak something mechanical like this, which doesn't even make any sense from the image. See, grammatical mistakes are fine. Speaking illogically is not even logic, it's like a mechanical response. It doesn't have life in it. Definitely ChatGPT can find that out. I can do an experiment and go on and on, make it a 3-hour video, which I don't want to do it. But yes, hope you're getting it. All those you need to stop, because a pocket phone can identify this. Why not a big server like Pearson software? Think about it. So what is the right way to do in the describe image, which I've shown in multiple videos of mine. Recently I made a video, the last video on the last Saturday, where I also showed how to fix my template and not use it as a templated response, but use it as a structure. Correct? You got to follow the structure. The structure is introduction, paraphrase, 3 main key points. Highest trend, lowest trend. If highest trend, lowest trend is not there, you got to rely on other things, and then conclusion. So this is the template or a structure that I've given. The image provided is a dash that gives information about, something about the image. This next is paraphrasing. Well, x-axis talk about the x-axis, then y-axis talks about. This is applicable only for bar graph and line graph. You cannot apply this for pie chart, area, or some other picture process. Hope you're getting it. And then 3 things. It is evident that, conversely, or you can also say on the other hand. Next is another interesting point is, overall this image illustrates, or you can modify it by saying, in conclusion, the image illustrates. Now we will apply this to 2 of the new pictures. I'm going to show you how I do it. Let's start with a bar graph. I'm not prepared, but I'm just starting with it. The image provided is a bar graph that gives information about dog's kennel among the various dogs such as Bulldog, Labrador, Pug, Great Dane. Well, x-axis talks about the various dogs' names such as Great Dane, Siberian Husky, Pug, Labrador and Bulldog. The y-axis gives information about number of dogs present from 0 to 50. It is evident that least number of Great Dane and Bulldogs are found in this picture. Conversely, Shih Tzu, Labrador and Siberian Husky seems to be dominant. Another interesting point is Pug more or less has 20 number of categories present. Overall, this image illustrates the dog's kennel among the different dogs such as Bulldog, Labrador, etc. This is the way you speak. Sometimes people have commented that I'm speaking for 45 seconds. This is just a prototype. I'm trying to speak as much as possible here so that you would understand how to get the ideas, how to speak more. 25 to 30 seconds is enough, but don't speak 15 seconds or less than 20 seconds. It's clearly mentioned in their website that all the content or the important key content from the image cannot be described in just 20 seconds. So at least 25 to 30 is enough. Don't have to go till 40. Hope you're getting it. Now let's go with a line graph. You can pause the video, try doing it yourself, record it, and then watch me how I do it and compare. Trust me, I'm not prepared for this. So I'll take some 5-10 seconds because very less content. Line graph is a little tricky. I'll take 5-10 seconds and then I'll start. Probably I'll talk about at 1 minute, the distance covered is probably 0. At 4th minute, even I'm not understanding this, so I'll just try to cook up some story. The distance covered is 15. At 6th minute, distance covered is 25. On an average, as when distance goes, sorry, the time goes, the distance also goes up. Something of this, I'm going to cook a story. Let's start. The image provided is a line graph that gives information about distance and time with respect to their correlation. While x-axis talks about the numerics indicating the time and distance in minute and centimeter, the y-axis talks about 0 to 30 in multiples of 5. It is evident that at 1st minute, the distance covered is almost 0. Conversely, at the end of 4th minute, we can see a great increase in the distance covered, which has risen approximately up to 15 centimeter. Another interesting point is at the end of 6th minute, the distance covered in centimeter has climbed up to 25. Overall, this image illustrates the increase in the distance with the increase in the time. So you may see that I was not very comfortable with it, but I will make sure that this response will give the full scores because it has got everything. Occasional fumbles are absolutely fine. Something like this you speak, you're gonna get the marks. Simply you say it is evident that highest is this, lowest is this, something of that will not give the marks. In my first video that I made on October 31st or November 1st about the update, I had written in brackets, I mentioned the highest trend. It is just to give you an indication what you can speak. Doesn't mean that you have to speak highest trend. I'm sure people are very intelligent here who can easily understand that it's common sense. For many of the images like pie chart, there is no increasing trend, there is no upward trend. So you gotta make sense from the image, which varies from question to question. So don't get wrong with the template that I've given. So this is the actual one. It is evident that it is not compulsorily that you write highest trend. It can be anything. If you find the highest trend, use the highest trend. Otherwise, you got to rely on the information that is given. That's called common sense. Many have interpreted it wrong and are telling this will not work. 100% it will work. Many have already got 90, more than 10 students. In our course, I've got a 90. We have shared all their score reports in the Instagram channel. You can verify it on your own. The next rule, that is rule number 2, is with respect to Retell lecture. Whatever the things that we talked for describe image, the same goes with Retell lecture as well, meaning to avoid templated responses, avoid keyword responses, avoid mechanical responses. Whatever the examples that I gave for describe image stands very well with the Retell lecture as well. So what we need to do, whatever we did for describe image, similarly we need to take onto it from that angle, make your own sentences and use a structure or a shortened version of a template. Earlier I had shared a little lengthy template. Well, you can still use it because I always told people not to write keywords, use sentences or phrases. So it should be fine, but if you are a little doubtful, then in my previous video, I had given a little shortened version of a template or a structure. You can rely on that. Here as well, I have given it. The lecture discusses. In the beginning, the speaker explained about, later the speaker said. Here the speaker also mentioned, in conclusion, the lecture effectively summarized. So this goes with anybody who doesn't know PTE. If you play an audio and ask them to summarize, they would often end up using these words. So this is not a template, this is a structure, and inside the blanks you cannot fill one word. You got to write sentences on your own, which I've shown in multiple videos, but here as well I'm going to show and explain how to speak Retell lecture henceforth using this new template. Let's check it out. So I'm going to play the audio now. Let's start.
Today, a university like the LSE certainly has to
very difficult to understand. Let's pay more attention.
Students, all of whom have choices they can exercise.
They can exercise
which run across national and continental borders. We are in competition too for staff.
We are in competition for staff. We are in
21st century English
competition for staff.
Universities in English-speaking countries are exposed to more intensive competition than
are exposed to
we are in competition for
more intense competition.
We are in competition for research contracts from public and private sector sources, and indeed we are in competition for the philanthropic pound. Many of our
competition for philanthropic pound, I believe, I'm not sure.
And indeed, think of the LSE's requests alongside those of other charities to which they are committed. That is the competitive environment which is particularly visible to a vice chancellor.
Which is particularly visible, it's difficult, not very easy, to Vice Chancellor. 10 minutes time we will have, so I'm just still writing. Now when you speak, just speak. It's okay. It's totally fine. Just speak. The lecture discusses they can exercise and national wars. In the beginning, the speaker talked about we are in competition for staff and universities are exposed to more intense competition. Later, the speaker said competition for philanthropic pound. Here, the speaker also mentioned which is particularly visible to only Vice Chancellor. In conclusion, this lecture effectively summarized they can exercise and national wars. We are in competition for staff. Well, this could be a little less content, but yes, this should be fine. But if you can add a little more, see audios like this, probably 50 seconds, 45 to 50 second audio this was, and it was super crazy. The accent was difficult to get it. Well, if you have your own excuses, then at least small 5 phrases like this should get you scores. But if possible, write a little more so that you don't lose marks towards your listening section, because Retell lecture contributes marks to your listening and speaking both. Well, whatever I've written should be more than enough, but there are some small phrases which probably could hamper the flow. Earlier we had a very lengthy template, so we may not have noticed it. Even a short phrase looked like, the flow was good. But here the speaker said we are in competition for staff. So it's a very small template and a small phrase. Overall it may look like it is a shortened sentences. So try to write a little more, or 2 phrases for each blank. For a 40-50 second audio, this should be more than enough. If it's a 1.5 minute audio, 2 minute audio, then possibly you got to write more, I think, which is very much possible. The rule number 3 is about essay. Well, in their website, they've mentioned the research papers that they were into with respect to describe image, Retell lecture, essay writing and everything, but luckily they have not implemented with respect to essay the manual checks. But yes, essay was always a problem for a lot of students. It was very much debatable earlier whether to use one word template or a user template, meaning a complete templated responses. All of those were not giving marks from before and even now. So avoid using templated responses, keyword responses, meaning multiple blanks. I'll put one word, one word, one word, one word, one word. Your friend may have gotten last year or a few months back, you may not get it. I'm telling you, all these are very risky. Avoid using it. See, they're asking you something to write, so write on your own. Use a template, a structure, totally fine, but you ought to write 4 to 5 sentences on your own. So avoid writing mechanical responses like color, white, black, something of that which logically doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what to do instead? Whatever I have been telling since probably 6 years, that holds good. The same template, or you can use my new template. I've given 2 templates. If you are following my channel for a very long time, you would know. Otherwise, any template is fine. My previous template, new template, although such topics in all likelihood, or the new one, both of them have 5 sentences to be written on your own. And when you write, make sure you write something relevant to the question, and add a mixture of simple, compound and complex sentences. This is very much prevalent. This was very much prevalent as well earlier, even now, and even now it becomes I think too prevalent, because they are very much aware that you are using templates. So it's best to avoid generic templates or keyword templates. Write something on your own, meaning 4 to 5 sentences if you use my template, and make sure no spelling error, no grammatical error when you write them. The rule number 4 is with respect to summarized spoken text. It's again very risky to have a generic templated responses or keyword responses for your summarized spoken text. I've been telling this since the day I opened my YouTube channel in 2018, close to 6.5 to 7 years. Use a shortened template, because your content matters the most. Content marks will come to your listening and writing both. So you cannot write keywords, just keywords alone. And now with the new things that have been circulating, they are aware that you're trying to escape from writing on your own. So be very much aware. Don't have to go with complete templated responses or big template, 5 blanks you put from the audio, you listen 5 words, you put it there and escape. You cannot escape. You will again come back, same center, same seat, swipe your card, book it and take the exam. I'm telling you, this is very much evident with the things that I've been saying. So use my earlier method, the method that I dictated for Retell lecture, same method you can use it here. My old templates are fine for summarized spoken text, but yes, if you want, you can use the new template. What is this new template? This template is same as the Retell lecture. This also can be used wherein it's just shortened versions. of the words, so the template will have very less words. Earlier also I did not give a very lengthy ones for summarized spoken text. I was very much particular about the content. You can use my previous summarized spoken text template, or you can use the new Retell lecture template that I've given now to summarize spoken text and write some phrases and fix the grammar and fix the spelling. If you don't fix the grammar, then again grammar marks will go down, spelling marks will go down. Be very careful, but avoid templated responses, avoid keyword responses, avoid writing something in a mechanical way. Hope you are getting it. So whatever I had told about summarized spoken text earlier still holds good. You can continue doing it, or you can change the template to Retell lecture template. Well and good. The last rule, the rule number 5, is very, very important. While we focus on the new update and lot many stuff, many are centered around this describe image and Retell lecture alone. You need to realize describe image doesn't give you 90, it hardly gives you 10 to 12 marks. Retell lecture some 6 to 8 marks and not more than that. What matters the most is still the other modules that remain the most important ones, though there are no updates with respect to it because they are the core of your PTE exam scores. Whether academic or core, doesn't matter. It's the read aloud, repeat sentence, reading fill in the blank, reading, writing fill in the blank, listening fill in the blank, write from dictation. These 6 still remain the core, the crux, the base of your PTE exam scores, whether for academic or core, doesn't matter. So work on this. Don't just be blown away by the new updates, focusing only on the describe image and other things. You have to still start focusing on the other things like these 6 modules, because these are the crux and these 6 demand your English. So work on it from a different perspective. Read novels, listen to a podcast, every day do some spelling test. If you need more assistance, you can join us. We can put you in the right direction. Alright guys, I think that's all for today. I really hope this was an informative content giving you 5 new rules post update. If you believe the video was informative, like, share and subscribe, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section. With this, I'll park the video here. This is Nakul, Nakul, Nakul signing off from SKILLS PTE Academy.